Well, actually, it wasn't, according to research, it really wasn't until the 18th century, during the movement of Romanticism, that people started really getting into monogamy. Like, when the Romanticism movement started, that's when people started really giving into the idea of having their one true love and their one true soulmate. But prior to the 18th century and the 17th century,
people were just fucking like crazy.
I don't think that's true at all.
monogamy, people weren't super into monogamy like we are now today.
It's different because it was, what you're talking about is people talking about finding their true love or their soulmate, whereas before it wasn't so much based on initial feelings or romanticizing a relationship, and more about just that dying commitment that this is my spouse and I'm going to learn to love them and commit to love them for the rest of my life. And there was like a lot less, I don't know, fairy tale glitter rosy colored glasses around the idea of love and sacrifice.
I feel like
arranged marriages and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like prior to the Romanticism movement, people more so got married for logistics, because I feel like there was research that I saw that.
What's the purpose of marriage? What do you say?
I feel like just financial reasons.
To raise
like
kids?
I feel like, yeah, to raise kids.
Okay.
It's easier to raise kids when you're married, I feel like.
So I mean, you mentioned logistic reasons. But,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, to raise kids.
Yeah, but with the history of monogamy, prior to 1 AD, before Christianity started becoming, more of a thing, monogamy really wasn't that common.
Where?
According to history, like around the world, I feel like monogamy, based on the research that I've personally seen, and you guys can, of course, fact check it. Based on the research that I've seen, like, monogamy wasn't really, this thing that was going around the world until the 1850s, when Western imperialism became a thing, and white people started going around the world saying, "Oh, monogamy is the way to go," because
this is just not true at all, though. If you look at pre-biblical India, they're pro-monogamy. If you read the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita, they're talking about monogamy. They're talking about the beauty and sanctity of a male-female relationship. If you look at
actually, the Quran describes it beautifully, and commentary on the Quran, it describes marriage as two souls becoming one essence, which is really beautiful.
I feel like the spread of disease is also a big driver for monogamy.
Yeah, that's a really good point you bring up there. If you're monogamous,
but people who are non-monogamous and practice non-monogamy, when they have sex with other people, they know to use protection, whereas I know of a lot of people who are in monogamous relationships who still end up getting STDs because when their partners cheat on them, they're not using protection.
Then
but you can also get cheated on in a non-monogamous relationship too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would take a lot of trust.
And then also, certainly the odds of getting an STD is, I would say it's greater in non-monogamous relationships than monogamous relationships. But you mentioned protection. I mean, protection is not foolproof deterrent to getting an STD.
No, but it's a preventative measure.
It is a preventative measure, but like, take for example herpes. You can, even if you're wearing a condom, like, you can still get herpes. Like, because you could have an outbreak like on the base of the fucking. Am I gonna describe the anatomy here? But I mean, let's also be honest too. Like, people really be out here fucking without condoms. Like, let's be honest, Con.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Come on, look at the smile on their face. They be fucking.
I mean, it feels
She'd be
better.
fucking without a condom. Come on, bro.
I feel like the problem isn't about monogamy or non-monogamy, because I think everyone assumes a certain risk when they do engage in sexual activity. I think it's the problem with having a conversation and being open with your partners or partner about those different things.
Yeah. Well, I think also when it comes to raising a family, I don't know if that's an ideal family dynamic to have, like,
way?
huh?
Like, do you want to elaborate?
Well, like, if like there's one mom and like three fathers, I don't know, that might be a little. There's going to be like infighting, and then like if there's if there's offspring, or maybe I shouldn't say offspring, if there's children.
I think there's also more to a marriage than just raising children and having children, although one of the fruits of marriage is childbearing and having children.
I mean, isn't that the primary reason of marriage?
It's
Besides
twofold.
solidifying a relationship, like you
Yeah.
can be married and not have children.
Learning
You- no,
from
you
each
can,
other, like
but-
growing with someone.
It's the love and commitment, actually. Like, if you look at the purpose of marriage, it's to love your spouse unconditionally, although that's, I mean, that people think nowadays that you can get married and that it's not forever. Although, I mean, in the design of marriage and in the design of humanity, who you commit your life to in marriage should be forever, and with the goal that you'll be married until death do you part. So the purpose of marriage is to love one another sacrificially and wholly, and then as a result of that love, children are the fruit of it.
We have 2 super chats here we have to react to. We have Ryan, the Eating Warrior. Hey, man, good to see you in the chat again. Thank you for the $50 super chat, man. Really appreciate it. Monogamy was enacted to stabilize societies and to help prevent the spread of diseases